Hey guys, it's me, my face, and 2 weeks worth of let me tell you what. Tonight's video made possible by Lord Hobo, 617, Titletown. That's Boston. We be Titletown. You know, when there's sports. Oh look, there's a cat on my projects. Oh boy. Move. Lord Hobo, because when I panic buy, I know what I'm doing. Please, if you are one of the people who have bought 200 and some odd packages of toilet paper, please comment down below and tell me why. Why did you do that? Why, in this trying time of plague, on the verge of a zombie apocalypse, do you try to deny me and mine a fresh bottom? Stop buying all the toilet paper. If you are new here, this channel is about cross-stitch and mental health and how they delicately interweave into a merry dance of chaos. And if you're returning, thank you. I appreciate it. I don't suppose I need to point out that I had my hair done today. There is nothing like getting your hair done to make you feel like an actual human being again, except maybe beer. All right, I missed last week, so I have a fair amount of progress, which is good. I have some haul, which is interesting. I even have a semi-FFO'd thing, which is unusual for me. I have an update on the stuff that goes on in my head. Let's jump in. At the risk of sounding like a broken record, I know that I am behind on responding to comments, but I have read almost all of them. Actually, I've read all of them. I read them when they pop up. But of people who had a real preference of how I show the project I'm working on, where I was last time, that kind of thing, people preferred the old way. The new way just wasn't... Nobody was excited about the new way. There were a lot of people who were like, it's fine, whatever, it's fine. But people who didn't like it really didn't seem to like it. So we're back to the old way until I think of something else to experiment with. The first thing that I worked on is my Linen and Threads. Linen and Threads, Friends and Family, 2020, Sal, Free, Quaker. Yeah, we're doing that again. There was information. It popped up. You saw it. I finished off this bottom part, which I don't think I had done last time, and I started this guy. I continue to love this pattern, even though I am woefully behind. This is just the beginning of February. March is already out. I'm regretting the blue in the butterfly. So I'm trying to decide if I want to pick that out, because it's 1/1, and use something different, or just leave it for now and not use any more blue and see how it looks, and then decide at the end if I want to replace it. And I'm not putting in any of the initials or letters until I'm done, because I don't know how many there will be, so I don't know how many people I have to think up to put on my sampler. But I love this. I love this as it's a complicated pattern in that, you know, it's not 100% symmetrical kind of thing. It's some sort of balance between mindless and really cool paying attention to something. It's been 2 weeks, guys. I'm not at my best. The next thing that I worked on is my Prairie Schooler. Second in a line of 5, and I can't wait. I have them all now? No, this is second. This is third. Oh Lord, I can't focus. Anyway, I'm working on this one right now. That brown, guys, the brown in the ground, the brown in the ground, that is no joke. That was intense. Yes, 1/1. These wouldn't be this hard if they weren't 1/1. I get it, I know. But look at it! Look at it, it is like a painting. It is so tight. I love it. I love that pop of orange. I love the diamond shape in the middle. I love the owls. Very happy. The third thing I worked on is this debut pattern by a breakout designer. No, it's me. It's my pattern. I only got as far as cautionary T. If you can't be a cautionary tale, be a cautionary T. I am so not unaccustomed to working on 2/2, but like I'm used to doing it for my big projects, but anytime I have a little project, I'm used to doing 1/1. Please ask me how many times I've had to start things over because I did like CAU 2/2, and then all of a sudden I started doing 1/1 for no and didn't notice until I was 2 letters in. It's been a rough couple of weeks, guys. It's been a rough couple of weeks, but it's coming along. I have already made a small change to the pattern. For those of you who don't know, if you go back to my last video, which I will put a thingy thing up in the thing, you can download a free pattern that I designed because I need creative outlets and I, need to stay out of the bars. I'm giving it away for free until I'm kind of done zhuzhing it and picking at it, and while people are stitching it, they're giving me feedback, although the feedback has just been they're happy, so apparently the pattern works for them. And then once I'm happy with it that way, I'm going to take down the free link and I am going to put this up in my Etsy shop and give it a shot. Let's see, it'll either sell or it won't. But I'm continuing to nudge things around. And one of the things that I've done is kind of change the spacing of the, I may, if I can think of it, put a little picture up. I'm changing, Andrea, speak! I'm taking tail and the wine glasses and kind of pushing them together a little more. But I'm trying to think of a motif to kind of put in that negative space. And nothing is working for me. It's not, a little Quaker design wouldn't be appropriate in there. I think I was playing around with putting 2020 in there. And that just sort of looks strange. And then I couldn't write out the numbers the way I wanted them to look because I didn't want them to look like everybody else's numbers and descend into madness. So get that pattern while it's still free, yet half-baked. The next thing that I worked on is Suffrage Act, and I did not realize how close to the end I was. That blue line going down is the edge of the piece, so I really just have proclaimed and then continue the brick road, and I think there's some more stars around here and here. And that's it, kids. That's the whole ball game. I love this. I love this so much. This is one of my favorite patterns that I have stitched in the past, I'm going to say a couple of years at least. I do a lot of, I don't even know how to describe what I do a lot of. I do a lot of prim. I do a lot of, things out of, oh my goodness, I got stuck there for a minute. Primitive punch needle and punch needle and primitive cross. I usually know this. Guys, it's, yeah. Hold on. Okay, we can keep going. I don't know why I think of this as more of a grown-up pattern or a more not professional. I don't know. It's a little unusual for me, but I have really enjoyed stitching on it, and I think when it's done, I'm going to go to people who know what they're doing and actually get a decent frame for it. That's how you know I love something, is when I'm willing to pay money to a framer. Dante. My whips are not a nest. The last thing I worked on is Templar Prophecy. Ooh, did I ever work on it? I honestly do not remember where it was last time you saw it. I mean, you're seeing a picture. I can't see it. But I know I have worked in here, and I worked in and filled in all up here. That was a nice night of stitching. I was happy. I did like here to here in one night, and I was pretty happy with that. I believe there was hockey. There was still hockey then. Remember, kids? Remember when there were sporting events and group stuff? And yeah, I know. So I'm very happy that there has been visible progress on this, because I want to get back to the dragon. I want to get him done. My God, all I did was talk for weeks about the dragon, and then the dragon went wrong, and now I'm just like, dragon. I want to get back to that. I want to get it finished. I want to work further down, and I want to get this thing moved to the side so that I can feel like I am, even in the smallest way, keeping up with Laura. Hi, Laura. I'll get there. I will. I can do it. No, don't worry, Dante. I'll put this over here now because you have nested in the whips. So that was everything that I worked on for the past couple of weeks. Not a lot of nights of stitching, but the nights that I stitched, or the times that I stitched, they were kind of marathon runs. They were, hours at a time. So at least I got something discernible done. I also have a partial temporary FFO. I know. I was a couple of weeks ago at Michael's, and they had these little chalkboard frames at the front of the store. You know how, I don't know about yours, but mine always has bins out front with like Aileen's tacky glue and random chalkboard things and stuff. So it's probably the Priscilla and Chelsea area. Let's go with that. But I found this frame, and I just thought, for the price, which I think was like $2.99, maybe less, I thought it was cute. And so I found a little thing to put in it, but it's not finished because I don't know. I feel like I wanted to put some lace at the bottom. So I went out today. Let's see if you can. I went to Michael's today. Yeah, two weeks later. I know. It's actually more than that probably, but hold please. I wanted to put a little something across the bottom, so I got some lace today, which I don't know how I feel about it. Let me get out of the way. Geez, Andrea, get out of the way. So I thought maybe I would wrap that around the bottom and maybe the top just to make it a little more interesting, just a little more something. I made a mistake. I couldn't decide if I wanted thick or thin lace. So I picked this up and I was wandering around the little lace area, and I kept picking things up and putting them down and picking them up and putting them down. And finally I said, okay, well, I'll get a thick and a thin, and then I'll decide which I want to use. And I went and I paid and I got home, and now I took them out of the bag and I picked up two of the identical thick ones and not the thin one, because this is how my day goes. When I say this is temporary, this is temporary. I laced. Look at it. I laced. I mean, it looks like a serial killer did it. I'm a little okay with that. But I laced like a big girl and everything. I had found these 4x6 artists' canvases. I don't know what this means. And I had them forever, and I didn't know what I was going to do with them, and I realized that I could wrap cross-stitch around them and try to lace them up or tape them up and do things. And it kind of acts like a backer board, because I cannot find pre-cut 3x5, 4x6, 5x7 backer board. Actually, I think I found 5x7, but I didn't really need it. I didn't have any 5x7 frames around. I can't cut the big pieces down. I can't do it with scissors because my arthritis just doesn't let me. I can't do it on my guillotine cutter because I have no place to put that thing to use it safely, and there are cats. It's going to go poorly. Somebody's going to lose a tail. Probably be me. So if you have a source, where did I see? There was like a plastic bag wholesaler that I found that I think had 4x6, and I was going to take a chance ordering from them, but I didn't because coronavirus hit and everybody was like, panic spend on toilet paper, don't buy anything unnecessary, and kind of, it's still in my cart. I could check out. The other thing I picked up at Michael's that day was a little letterboard. Look how cute it is. This was cheap. It was like $3 or something. And I figured, how much fun would it be to film, put this up somewhere and have, little secret messages to people, or just something fun that we can look at week after week, assuming I keep up with week after week. And I just wanted it. I'm not qualifying it. I picked it up. I was buying my feelings, and now I have it. So we'll find something fun to do with that. As of right now, as far as I'm aware, Stitch Shenanigans is still on. So I'm kind of continuing to put things together and try to get what I think I will need to travel with and to stitch away from home. So I consulted my guru, that would be Laura, and asked her what she thought of, like hoop stands and things like that clamp to tables and this, that, and the other thing. And she mentioned the Kay's Creations. And, I've looked at them a million times, even gone so far as to add them to the cart, take them out, add them to the cart, take them out. So I did it. I invested in the baby Z. Isn't she cute? Heavier than I thought it would be. I mean, it's not wicked heavy, but I thought it would be heavier. And I've tried stitching a few nights with it, with one of the hoops and the Q-snap, the small Q-snap, and it seems to work fine. It's going to take getting used to it. It's not so easy to get to the back of my work, so I find that I am, if I feel a little teeny knot, I don't go after it. If I feel a bird's nest, yes, I have to go after it. But otherwise, it's working out, and I think it might be saving my hand a little from holding the hoop or the Q-snap. It's not big enough to hold something like this, but I don't think I am planning on taking the big projects with me. From what people tell me, you either get a lot of stitching done because you're kind of quiet and just taking it all in, or you get very little stitching done because you're up and around and talking to people, and it's like, it's kind of a meet and greet and reunion all at the same time, because you feel like some of these people from the internet, and yet you're still meeting them for the first time. There's balance there. So, I'm not going to bring projects that I have plans on, making huge progress. But if I do make progress, that's good. So I think I get away with bringing a whole bunch of little things, especially some 1/1s in tiny little hoops, and just stitch away on those for whenever I stitch. And if I'm not stitching on them, it's not like I dragged out Death by Cross Stitch and then didn't do anything with it. I mentioned Stitch Shenanigans. Drink. That's about all I have for stitching. Otherwise, for the past couple of weeks, I've just been, making myself get out of the bed in the morning and shoving myself into a shower and just getting through the day. The amount I sleep now, or the amount that I want to sleep, is unreal. I went to my primary care Thursday and she did blood work, and that all came back normal. So we're doubling my Prozac prescription. So I picked that up today. And it's going to be 40 milligrams. I did not start it today. I took the 20 because 40, and I was reading, and 40 is like a midline. It's not a lot, but it's more than I've ever taken. So I think maybe I want to start that tomorrow, just because tonight is beer, and I don't want to find out that doesn't go well. It's been a really hard few weeks. It's difficult for me to say what's hard about it, because everything involves more than just myself, and that's not fair to bring other people's stories out onto the internet. It's just been really hard. I've been lucky that I have a therapist that pays very close attention to me, and when she says to me things like, I think I need to see you again next week, you don't argue with her. And also when she says she feels like perhaps I'm using food as a comfort thing, and then says, 'cause you put on a little weight. Thanks. But it's the truth. So, okay. So I am I am looking to Christine Slaughter, Stitch All the Things, as my inspiration. And so Monday I am going to, for like the 4th time in my life, join Weight Watchers and see what I can do. If nothing else, it makes me pay attention to what I'm eating. I may not always reach my my points goals. A lot of times I end up short. A lot of times I don't use all the points, and then they yell at you for that too, because you have to eat enough for your body to feel comfortable burning the food that you do put in. Otherwise, it just squirrels it away like toilet paper. Honestly, what is with you people in the toilet paper? We went to BJ's last night, and it was, can I just tell you, my faith in humanity was both kicked to the side and fully restored by one trip to BJ's. We walked in that store, and we looked at the lines going from the checkout down every aisle all the way to the back of the store. That's ugly. There were no carts anywhere outside. And the parking lot did not look that filled. So I have a sneaking suspicion that they took a lot of the carts away, thinking that if they could control the number of people who could shop, it would be less chaos. No idea how that was working for them. So we're going up and down the aisles, and we were not in the market for any sort of paper goods. But of course we went down through those aisles. And I mean, pick clean, toilet paper, paper towels, napkins. What are y'all doing with your time that you need all that paper goods? Meats were annihilated, pre-made foods, eggs, there's no milk, there was nothing. It was just, luckily we were there for, really important things like beer and wine and cat food and coffee, because we know how to quarantine. I will have to eventually go out and buy, food, but I will have that Instacarted, and I will have it brought to my porch, and there will be no contact with people, because I live my day trying to think of how to avoid contact with people. Anyway, we did our shopping. We found the end of a line, and we just got in and kind of just strapped in. Not only did the line move very quickly, I don't think we were in line more than 15, 20 minutes. But there was no, you would expect people to start getting a little wound up, especially as it was getting towards closing time, because I don't think they would have kicked anyone out of line, but stuff gets tense. People want to get moving. You're only supposed to have 2 cases of water. I see that you have 3 cases. You can't have your 5-year-old carrying a case of water. And there was none of that. Everybody was just in line. And we moved, and we waited, and we moved, and we waited. There were no fights. There were no arguments. There was nobody getting in the faces of the people working there. I mean, I'm sure they've probably had problems throughout the day in the past week and whatnot, but when we were there, it was pretty harmonious. I was impressed. Really. We were all behaving. A group of adults on their best behavior are actually pretty tolerable. I won't say that I want to hang out with them or anything, but they were tolerable. So yes, just based on that, I am confident that at the very least, my community can probably survive the zombie apocalypse. We probably will not kill each other, I mean, unless we're zombified. And quite honestly, don't you kind of want to join the side of the zombies? I mean... Alright, I'm getting the little message thingy that tells me that the thingy is gonna split my files, or I don't know. I don't know what it's going to do. So I think that is about all I have for you this week. Thank you for coming back. I notice a lot of times when, YouTube says if you post consistently and at a consistent time, it's better for your viewership and your ratings and things like that, because people get used to finding you at certain times. So if you break that pattern, a lot of times it takes a while for people to get back into rhythm to watching you. So I do appreciate that you have come back this week. Hopefully I won't have to skip any more weeks, or hopefully if I say I'm going to skip the Saturday probably that I am at Stitchnanigans. I said it again because I wanted a sip of beer. Drink. But hopefully I can pull myself together. A big part of keeping myself together is you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your likes and even your dislikes. And thank you so much for your comments. They mean the world to me, as do you. Thank you for being my community. Wash your hands.